Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have another Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match. Round 4, Game 2 between zerorush and Immortal Koi. On commentary today we have Dana and Smirk. How are the two of you doing?
I'm doing great. We've got a really good matchup here. zerorush, got us a bit of bad luck in the qualifiers for the main tournament. Ended up down here and has been wreaking havoc on everybody in this tournament. So definitely someone well known in the community. Immortal Koi, also no slouch, making it all the way over here to the top 16. So I'm expecting a great match. How about you, Smirk?
Yeah, I'm doing really well too. Thank you. Yeah, I've actually been following them a little bit. Yeah, I saw that zerorush and Immortal Koi. Immortal Koi actually almost qualified, and he played 13 qualifiers, so that's saying a lot. So yeah, definitely both of them, the caliber are basically equivalent to the main tournament. So, well, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep, and we'll get to go through the standard saving Zelda escape sequence. So both these runners are going to go get a weapon from Uncle. So we'll see what Uncle weapon we get today. No help for us, just that 5 rupees in that first chest.
Yeah, and to answer the question right away, I believe zerorush has 1 win on Immortal Koi right now. So this is their second match in the, you said quarterfinals, right?
Yes, this is top 16, also known as quarterfinals, also known as round 4.
Yes, thank you. And it looks like a bow start there from the Uncle.
Oh, wait, sorry, no. The top 8 will be quarterfinals. This is actually one game before the quarterfinals.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, and with that bow is the first weapon that makes farming through the enemies a little bit easier. Also, seeing that green small magic as the first drop means that we can get bombs from the guards, but it's going to be a little late. I believe it's the 6th item in that pool. So we'll see if either of these runners elect to kind of kill as many guards as possible to kind of advance that prize pack.
Yeah, I think they will. It depends. A lot of runners like to wait and see what they get in chests first. Before wasting too much time killing guards. But like you said, it is the bow, so they have plenty of artillery or ammo, I should say.
Yep, and most the green guards will get 1 shot by the bow. These blue guards will take 2, but it's pretty safe to farm. And then we get 10 more arrows as well to kind of make the farming even more easy. And something like the snakes are in the same drop pool as the guards. So there's that one room with a bunch of snakes, and with the bow you can kind of just line up and rapid fire, get as many as you can.
Yeah, and especially a good point there, because I think by the time you get to those ropes, the snakes, you've already gotten all these chests out of the way, so you're less and less likely to get bombs from a chest. So by then, if you don't have them, and knowing that bombs are in the prize pack, you'll definitely want to be farming them.
And there's that map there, one of the items that we're guaranteed to get in this escape, along with the small key, which we'll have to get in the next 2 checks.
And our runners are basically neck and neck going through escape here. You should see them both probably finish within the 6 minutes, depending on how things go here. Both opting to use the 4 arrows, which is faster than 2 arrows. So.
Yep, with the arrows, you don't even need to worry about any safety that those pods provide, because the arrows are just as safe. You can stand very far away from that guard. It's one of the things that makes the bow. The bow is probably the easiest weapon to do escape with, just because it kills enemies fast and it does it from a distance.
Unless you're me and you can't fire in the right direction.
The one difficult part about the bow start is that key rat sometimes will hug up against either the top wall or the bottom wall, and it can be kind of difficult because the bow, you can't get that close to the wall, so it can be a bit difficult to get him at sometimes.
Or if you kill one of the rats and the key drops behind the torch, that can be difficult to get the key.
So, and then something else about that bow, you'll often see like a bit earlier of a map check and maybe considering going to Eastern Palace a little quicker, because once you have that bow, you can clear out Eastern Palace with just a bow. You would normally want to get a lamp or a sword to make getting through the dark rooms a little bit easier, but it gives you a lot of early game options to go to Eastern basically as soon as you want.
Yes, I am speaking from experience, Samimas. That's happened, and I didn't know how to get it. But yeah, exactly what Kokon Dane said. The bow oftentimes leads runners to Eastern earlier than they would normally go, just because most of the runners at this stage do not need the lamp to get back there. It is out of logic if they go that way, but it is still doable. And here's that farming. There's the bomb drop for Zero. Still none for Koi. So we'll see.
I think Koi needs one more drop, and he's got some more snakes in here to get it.
And just a reminder, there it is. Every enemy is a 50-50, I believe, chance to drop an item, and then along the price point, it just progresses on. So they both found their bomb though, so that should be back of escape access for both of them.
Yep, so like the way that this works is that the prize packs themselves are always the same. Like there's the prize pack that starts off with one bomb and then has another bomb, etc., or the one that starts with a hearth and a fairy. Those will always be the same. They're not going to randomize what items they are, but what does get randomized is which enemies drop which prize pack. And the other thing that doesn't change is which enemies are in the same group. So the guards are always the same as the snakes. They're not going to be the same thing every time, but always if the guards are in the fairy pack, so are the snakes. And we haven't seen anything good in the back of Escape there.
Well, we haven't really seen anything good in all of Escape. Just that the bow start was the only thing that's nice, I guess. The rest of it was junk. Not even bombs. Like, woof. This is going to be interesting. I guess they have 100 rupees, so at least they can buy them. But we'll see what they get afterwards. All right, so that is 5:48 escape time for Zero Rush, and about 5:55-ish for Immortal Koi. So just 7 seconds apart coming out of escape. You can see that both of these runners have excellent execution. So this is exciting. Oh, well, there's the lamp.
Yep, and we got a map check. We see a blue pendant up on Tower of Hera, a red crystal on Eastern, and a regular crystal on Desert.
So this, having the lamp and the bow, Eastern is just like kind of calling out,
Yeah, and another thing to point out, so neither of these runners have any bombs. If they don't, sometimes you'll see runners save and quit outside of Lost Woods after, if they don't get any bombs, if they can go to Eastern like this and it's a crystal, because then you just go to Eastern, buy bombs on the way, and then you can come back to Kakariko with bombs and already have beaten Eastern.
Yeah. You can see Immortal Koi is going the Lumberjack ledge check route, where he sees what's on the ledge to know if Aga's required or not, or if there's a progressive item there, whereas Zero Rush skipped it. Both of them did the tree pull and got some extra rupees, the big 20s there, so that's also a little helpful.
Yeah, and that's another thing you'll see when winners don't have bombs, they'll also like to come up to this Lumberjack sometimes, because normally you wait to the boots to check this, but if you don't have bombs, you get an extra shot at some tree poles or a bush crab, which can help you out. And you see right here, Immortal Koi is trying to knock out enough enemies to get another tier 2 tree pole because he wants to get more money there.
Right. And both of them try to kill a few extra guards as well to see if they could get that prize pack shuffled back to the bombs. Or not shuffled, but reordered back to the bombs, but it didn't seem like they found it.
Yeah, and you saw... We did see the Lumberjacks not going to be required today, and so the tier polls, we got tier 1 tree poll is going to be just hearts, and tier 2 is money, which you always like when you get one that's the 20s, like they did for tier 2, because then if you find yourself short on money for Zora, you can just do a tree poll and get some extra money.
And don't be sad yet, Star. Even though it's just a heart piece there on the Lumberjack ledge, that does not mean that Aga is not required. We can still see an Aga seed if it's required for Dark World, which I know you know, but I'm just...
And we see a book over there on Zero Rush's side. So with Desert Palace being a crystal, a lot of times when you get that book early, that ends up being your Desert Palace access for a good item, whereas if you get it later, it's sometimes not as useful. Don't have a glove yet, so we can't clear out Desert, but definitely be thinking about that if we run into a glove. Also saw that Ether Medallion in the Battle Vendor, which is going to be a big question mark whether or not that's going to be helpful. We're going to have about an hour before we check to see what the medallion requirements are for both our dungeons and that require medallions. But yeah, Kakariko's not turning up with very much so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like just that ether medallion and the book there. So we'll see what they do. I mean, one of the most standard routes early on is to go South Shore after this, but we'll see if they decide to go to Eastern Palace first before they go down with the South Shore checks.
And we see that cape there. Whenever you get the cape early like that, you're wondering if that cape is going to be required for doing Aghanim or if it just happens to be there early.
I mean, not just the cape, but the lamp as well. You got a lamp and a cape, so now we're just wondering if Aga is required.
Yeah, especially with not having a hammer or a glove at this point, you're actually closer to getting to the Dark World through Aghanim than you are through the normal access.
Now you do still need a sword, so.
Yep. That curtain in the back, you can get past the barrier with no sword as long as you have the cave, but you cannot cut the curtain to get to Aghanim with that sword.
Exactly. And then also, I think Aga himself, you need to be able to bounce the little fireballs back at him with the sword here. I don't think you can use the bug net.
You can use the bug net and the hammer. Comes up with the occasional cross keys seed, more for Aga 2. And we see the boots up there on the race game. We definitely see both the runners go up and get that so they can go fast.
Oh man, early boots. I love this. Early boots is definitely, my favorite way to play a seed. So I'm excited to watch these runners with their excellent execution demonstrate how to really use the boots, because I'm balking off of everything when I play.
Absolutely, that's a great point. It's one of the most important skills that especially for the no major glitches run, but also for rando as well, is just being able to move around efficiently with the boots, because there's a lot that goes into it. Like, when do you start your dash? When do you dash versus just run? Stopping your dashes so you don't bonk. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. All right, let's see where Zero Rush goes. Is it going down or is it going to the right? Oh, he's going straight down. So it looks like the South Shore area first.
Yeah, and you can use those boots to do a water walk to the Zora area and be able to check out the Waterfall Ferry without the Moon Pearl. So that can kind of make this a little more appealing. Don't have enough money for Zora yet. They could elect to do some tree poles to get a little bit more money, but they're pretty far away and probably would not want to do that yet.
Yeah, and another curious point is, do you think either of them will go to desert this early on? Oh wait, no, they need the gloves to full clear it. Never mind.
Yeah, I think that's what they would wait on. So one thing we're seeing, Koi is going to make the play over to Eastern first. Sometimes you'll see runners when they're thinking about going to the desert area, they'll do the mini Moldorm cave without doing the dam and then come back later and combo the dam into desert. But we'll have to see. I guess it's really going to depend what items these runners get.
Yeah, and like you said, speaking of that Zora money, Zero Rush found it just there on the dam. 300 rupees, so this might lead him towards that area even more now.
Yeah, because whenever you have the boots, the water walking over to the Zora area is really nice. And if you have the money to do it, it just makes it even more appealing. There's that glove we're looking for as well. All
right. We'll see if Koi's play pays off here, since he's heading over to the eastern direction. It looks like Zero Rush finding the gloves. And was that a bottle in there as well?
That was, yes. So now we have Sick Kit available.
Oh, that crab is being a jerk. Oh, that was cool. Did you see him chase his arrow like that? That was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's nice, because then the crab can't get you unless he comes from the top. Because without a sword, those crabs are no joke. We've seen a number of runs decided by somebody getting killed by a crab on the way to Ice Rod Cave, and then there being a key item in there. So it's always a bit scary.
Absolutely. I am terrified of those crabs every time.
And seeing our first item in Eastern Palace over there is a 50. We got our Kana Burna over here.
Ooh, Kana Burna in the Ice Rod Cave. It is blue. Oh wait, he didn't set up the water walk there. I wonder.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But he is running, so.
He's actually going to go back and get it.
Okay, I think he maybe just forgot and was like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, because when you don't have the Moon Pearl, that water walk is really important, because the Moon Pearl, the way that it works is if you fake flipper into the waterfall cave and have the Moon Pearl and walk out, you'll get a water walk. But if you don't have the Moon Pearl, you'll still be swimming. So you can't get those chests in the waterfall cave doing a fake flipper without the Moon Pearl. But with the boots, you can.
Right, exactly. Alright, so just 10 arrows there on Hylia Island, and going directly to the waterfall ferry area. Which I like this because if you go to Hobo, you can fake flipper out of Hobo, but like you said, you'll have issues when you get to here because you'll lose you won't be able to get the chests.
Yeah, and something else that can mess with you is if you get a heart refill from either heart pieces or the sanctuary heart, you lose your water walk. So if you walked over there with the boots like they did here, then you won't be able to get the item. And also, we see a sword up there on Zora Ledge, which we'll see if Zero Rush elects to use a splash deletion glitch here to try to get that sword, because you really like to get that first sword as soon as you can.
I imagine he will. It's definitely not an option for me, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, but he just got that heart, so is he going to be able to? I don't. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll be able to.
Okay, just cancel the. Okay, there we go.
So what Zero Rush is doing over here is if you load up too many sprites on the screen, then the sprite, that little splash sprite that we saw when Link jumps into the water, it will not spawn. And in this game, if the splash doesn't spawn, then you get to swim. So what he's trying to do is overload the screen with arrows and bombs so that will not spawn.
Meanwhile, Immortal Koi's over here, clearing out those red Igors and heading into the Armos Knights fight in Eastern Palace. And setting up for the quick kill here, and getting his first crystal of the game at just about 16 minutes. And unfortunately, Zero Rush was not able to get that splash delete off to get that sword back there. But that does make me feel like the flippers will be available somewhere soon.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe that's the first sword. Maybe that's our fourth sword. We'll have to see. It looks like Zero Rush is actually going to set up a water walk here. Maybe try to go back and get that.
I think he might be going to Hobo for this one. Or do you think he'll go straight back to the Zora area?
It's interesting. So if there's another trick you can use to get that item called a double water walk, but you need the Moon Pearl to be able to do that. So we'll see if that's what he's...
It looks like it. He opted for fake flippering there to store his water walk.
I guess you can do it. You can do it with a single water walk. You just got to fake flipper all the way from here to the Zora area. So yeah, if you carry this water walk all the way over there, then you can get those items. It's just a bit tricky because those Zoras, if you get shot while you're in the fake flipper state, you just die.
Yeah, and if you touch a piece of grass, you also lose the water walk. So.
And something that happened over on Immortal Koi's side, if you're wondering, why is he back in Eastern? So it looks like he elected to skip the big key chest, hoping that the item was on Armos, but then the compass was on Armos, and deciding to be a bit thorough and go back to make sure that this item doesn't go back to haunt him. Yeah,
it's a common gamble you see with a lot of different dungeons to go back in if the boss doesn't have the item. I don't think you see it as often with Eastern Palace. Oh wow, look at him go. Zero Rush did it. He did the double water walk. He's gonna get that sword.
Yeah, so that's actually just the stored water walk there. The double water walk is when if you have the Moon Pearl, you can store the water walk like he did, and then go into the waterfall cave, and then you have a water walk and can still use the water walk. It's actually much harder to swim all the way like he did, so definitely kudos to him for pulling that off.
Absolutely. It does make me feel like the flippers are just sitting in a game, but but yeah, definitely cool and awesome to see. It's like things like that I wouldn't even think of in a race to be able to pull off or do. And on the Immortal Koi's side, he didn't find anything of use in Eastern Palace. It looked pretty empty except for maybe those 300 rupees. But oh my goodness,
there are the Titans nets.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Chad asking about double water walk. Here's some things you need to know about double water walk. You need to be able to store the water walk like Zero Rush did, and that means you have to get your fake flipper on the first try. If you jump in the water, your water walk gets deleted. Also, if you ever go into an underworld screen, like the waterfall cave, you cannot move left or right, or else that will also de-store the water walk. So the important thing is just make sure your water walk doesn't get deleted.
That's definitely useful information to me. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, it doesn't come up quite as much now that we've got the Ancilla splash deletion, but it's definitely good to know.
Oh, Koi taking a death there just before getting into Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but luckily, with it being that close, it's not as bad as if you were to, say, die on the way to Ice Rod Cave, because then you basically just have to skip Ice Rod Cave.
Right, exactly. I didn't catch, did Koi find, or sorry, did Zero Rush find any items here in Desert yet? The small key, big key, and I saw the compass. I missed one of the items.
I did not see anything of note, but I didn't. It did, sometimes when you see items like red rupees, they just kind of fall out of your mind.
Right, exactly. Well, I guess we'll see here if this is an item. And wait, did he not get the big key? Oh, did he not check the torch? He must not have checked the torch.
Yeah, I think you get to that point where you know the big key's on the torch after seeing the right side chest, and then you're like, oh, I know where it is, therefore I have it. That sometimes happens.
Yeah. That's interesting. You know, the problems the really good runners face versus, oh, wow. So Desert with the mirror and then the mitts over there on the desert ledge, this is, the seed is starting to open up.
Yeah, so that mirror doesn't really, it gives us the Tower of Hera area right now. And the mitts, I'm not even sure what the mitts give us right now, but it's in logic.
Right, true. Because without
but
the
it puts
moon
us
pearl,
close to a lot of stuff if we get the moon pearl.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to point out with Zero Rush, it was when he was in Desert coming out of that big chest room, and he ran straight through, I don't know what those monsters are called, but the quicksand ones that come out of the ground. And he ran straight through it, and if you can get just to that left side just fast enough, you can run through it without getting stuck. So that was really good.
And meanwhile, we see Immortal Koi doing the same sort of play that Zero Rush did, where he'd take the water walk over to the Waterfall Cave and then over to Zor himself.
Now, we'll see if the same thing happens to him with that heart container from Zora.
And Zero Rush having to go really fast with the lamp to make sure to be able to light those torches in time with the low magic, but able to get it in time.
We'll see. Looks like a Bo Lanmo fight here.
Yep, the NMG special. This is how, if you're doing the regular speedrun on the game, this is how you would approach this fight.
And I do believe Zero Rush plays NMG regularly, so I think we should see. Oh, and now we got Koi over here on Zora's side, looking like he's working on those flash deletes.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to do it if you still have your water lock like that. You kind of want to get rid of it. Also, he's already defeated the Armos Knights, which when you fight the Armos Knights, it messes up that glitch.
Right. I always forget about that.
Yeah, you want to either hard reset, or you can also optionally just drop 2 bombs into the water quickly, and that will oftentimes reset it, but the timing matters. If you don't do the timing correct, the bomb drops will not reset the value that you need to reset to make the glitch work again. Yes, there's also a way to do it using the lamp to reset the Ancilla value so the glitch will work. I don't know the lamp setup, though.
We're going to see what's in Akina's cave here. And it's just a piece of heart. So it makes me really curious where the flippers are, because it seems like they have the mountain and Sick Kid, right?
We got Mountain, we got Sick Kid, King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks. I think that's all we've got right now.
Right, King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks as well. That's right. Okay. Because it's starting to get pretty barren here, because we've already seen all of Saha's Closet, we've already seen all of Eastern, and we've already seen all of Desert. So we need that sword for if it's an Aga seed. So if that's the case, then we're going to have to find the flippers here soon.
Yeah, it could also be the case, though. There might just be another sword on the mountain, or it might not be an Aga Seed. The only way this is going to be an Aghanim Seed right now is, well, we still have like weird situations where the hammer can be locked behind the red crystal pyramid fairy. But right now, we just need a Moon Pearl, and we'll have Dark World access with the Titan's Mitts.
Right.
So you could even see that sword on Zorledge might be like our third or fourth sword, and the flippers could be who knows where.
Very true, very true. I've been kind of just assuming it's an Aga Seed this whole time because of that cape and lamp, but at this point, yeah, it's much more likely to just find either another sword for that or a Moon Pearl.
Yeah, you never know. Randomizer, there's no reason that you could have the Moon Pearl on Pyramid Ledge, you could have the flute on Pyramid Ledge leading to the mirror, the Moon Pearl in Checkerboard Cave or something. Random can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, exactly. I like Pixie's method. Assume it's an Aga Seed until it's not.
Yeah, before those Titan's Myths showed up, it was really looking like an Aghanim Seed, but once those Titan Myths showed up, it became a little bit less likely.
Pyramid Ledge, I like that. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to say both these runners are basically just covering up the work that the other two runners have done. We see Zero Rush going in and finishing out Eastern. Not going to really find anything interesting in there. We already saw that in Koi's side. And likewise, Koi's going to be Desert. He'll get the mirror out of here, but otherwise not too much in Desert itself. Though those Titan's Bits are out on the ledge.
Right, so we'll see what they both decide to do after this. Because at this point, they'll both be kind of at the same location. The only main difference will be Zero Rush will have gotten the sword.
Yeah, I think for them, the play is pretty clear right now because all of your items, they're all really close on the same route. You save and quit the Sanctuary, and then you can get to King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks, and then climb up the mountain from the little mountain portal that's blocked by the glove. So that's looking like a pretty nice option for these runners once they get done with their respective dungeons.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. And then I think Zero Rush might actually check Lumberjack because it's in that area and he has the boost. So he might give that a look as well.
Yep, that's a great point. That's a great time to route that in because he's going to be one screen away from it when going up to the mountain and hasn't checked it yet.
Yeah, Zero Rush has been just destroying it with the execution, but he's also kind of like forgotten a couple things here and there. I can't even remember what the first one was. He started going a direction and went back. Oh, it was the water walk from Ice Rock Cave. And then also in Desert forgetting to get the big key on the torch.
Yeah, and something we're seeing from Immortal Koi. So he got both the items out of Desert, and then the Land Molens are left. And he's just, the Land Molens are a regular crystal, so there's no items locked behind the Land Molens, so you can just beat them whenever. And right now he's swordless and only has the bow, so you're figuring, okay, I'll just beat those Land Molens later. I'll probably be back over here for the Mire. I even have the mitts in the mirror, so if he has to do Mire, he can just finish up Desert over there, and is going to go clear out, try to find some more items now.
Yeah, that's a really good point you made there, and it's a really good call, I think, because just bow by itself, you can get into some trouble if you're not comfortable doing that fight. And it's just going to take longer than potentially later in the game when you can just flute over there and, use fire rods or something,
Yeah, and you got to figure that a Mizramire could still be a crystal. We might not have to beat it, but you'll probably end up over in that area at some point, and we already have the mirror, so it'll be just as quick to get back into there later.
Exactly. It looks like Koi is checking Sick Kid before going up the mountain, so looks like he's being thorough here with that. And it's a mushroom. Oh my.
Yeah, I have to wonder when. I don't think you'll go and be that thorough and turn in that mushroom before going up the mountain. But yeah, you definitely make some sense to check that because you might find something like the hammer or the hook shot that would let you check a lot more stuff on the mountain up there.
Really. Now I will say it is more challenging to dash around with those boots when you don't have the sword. That first sword is definitely a massive boots upgrade. So you can see Koi here dashing and then kind of stopping here and there to avoid hitting enemies.
Yeah, and then when you get to the point where you want to do hammer dashes at some point, you can't actually do a hammer dash if you don't have a sword. So yeah, that sword is very nice to have when you have the boots.
All right, well, we will get to see. It looks like at this point, Zero Rush may be slightly ahead, but you got to keep in mind that that Koi is slightly ahead, but Zero Rush did finish Landmo. He did fight that, and he also went and got the sword from the Zora Ledge. So the difference here that you see is probably mostly that.
Yeah, it's definitely a close call as to who is ahead. I guess it's really going to depend on where the next sword is, I think, because you'll probably see if Immortal were to get the flippers, it would kind of incentivize him to go over by Catfish and Mirror, maybe turn in that mushroom as well. And that's probably when he'd pick up that sword. Whereas Zero Rush already has that sword, which he did have to spend quite a bit of time to get it, setting up that water walk. But it's been nice to have that sword for him, for sure.
And there he is, checking that Lumberjack ledge after having the boots and being in that area and finding out that it's just a piece of art. Okay, there's a Dark World check, map check. Green Pendant Pod and Pendant Ice Palace, I think, were the other two pendants.
Yep, Pendant and Ice Palace, and then a red crystal on Skullwoods.
Yes, Beer, question in chat. The sword is out of logic. It was on the Zora ledge. He tried to splash leap, but he didn't do that, so he stored a water walk out of Mini Muldorm Cave, and then took it over, and Fey Flippered over there, and then used it jumping down the waterfall, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that's exactly what he did.
Okay, cool. Sometimes my short-term memory is just a little wonky, so...
Yeah, because that splash deletion on the Zora Ledge is the most difficult to set up, because you have to be precise in your timing, because you have to do the first fake flipper to get in the water, and then you have to keep it the sprites to stay on screen until you do the little jump down the waterfall.
Right. Oh, Mordecai falling down in that room there in Hera. Also, good point to note, Zero Rush will gain a little bit of time on the mountain here by being able to do the spin speed there. Koi not having that option without a sword.
Yeah, and something else that Zero Rush is going to be able to do is beat Moldor. Because right now, Immortal Koi, I don't know if he might take damage from the Cane of Burna, but I don't think you can beat the Meldorm with just the Cane of Burna without a magic refill.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. That's crazy. It is just a pendant. Oh, that's exactly what he was looking for. He's dipping out now for sure.
Yeah, because there might not be... I didn't see if we got another item in Tower of Hera, but if there isn't anything else, then there's nothing else you can do on the mountain, and you'll want to come back up here with the mitts to do, and the hammer or the hook shot to do the rest of Death Mountain, and you can just beat Moldorm when you're up there.
Right, and that was the other item there that you saw from Zero Rush's screen. He got the bombs in the chest in the first floor. So the Moon Pearl was the second item there, so... completely makes sense to just dip out, I think, now that you have the Dark World Axis, which is exactly where he's going.
Yep, and that Moon Pearl just moved down one chest from where it normally is.
Yeah, it's true. Alright, looks like Zero Rush might go ahead and finish Moldorm here.
Yep, Moldorm is a pendant, so not needed to be defeated, but he's already up here, so I guess why not? Also, we have the mirror and the book, and Skullwoods is a crystal, so probably we'll see a pedestal check at some point if they're not already in go mode by the time they get to that dungeon.
Alright, looks like Zero... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to point out Zero Rush handling that Moldorm with the fighter's sword, just like the vanilla game, pretty well.
Yeah. I would have avoided Trolldorm just because, like, if it were me, I would be falling down this, like, 12 times. And that, I know, would be a huge time sink. So I'm like, I just hope it's not bad at this point. But when you can do it that fast, I guess it makes complete sense to just, make sure that if it is a pet seed after all, you'll have that pendant handy. And you won't have to go back to it after.
Yep, and so we're seeing Immortal Koi electing to be a bit thorough before going into Thieves Town because we don't have the hammer, and he also can only beat blind with that King of Samaria, so he's going to do all the stuff outside of the Thieves Town area before going into Thieves Town, because you don't want to leave behind that item if you don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, especially with no magic refill just yet, you can't be blind with that.
Yeah, it looks like he's even going to go all the way to these South Dark World checks, probably make it all the way over to Hype Cave before coming back to Village of Outcasts.
And on Zero Rush's side, he went ahead and turned in that bottle, got the mushroom, and looks like he's following in Immortal Koi's footsteps here and going into the Dark World. What's baffling to me right now is Zero Rush has 3 dungeons completed in like 30 minutes. It's just like, what?
Yeah, that's about the time that you would do in. It's even a little bit slower than it would take in the vanilla game to do those 3 dungeons, all the Light World ones. And we saw a Bombos medallion over in that digging game, which that can be useful for 2 things. That could either be our access into Ice Palace, which that's a pendant, so we don't really want to do that. But it could also be our access to either Misery Mire or Turbo. And it looks like Zero Rush is going to follow and do the same sort of idea that Immortal Koi did here. We're not want to go into Thieves Town early, going to want to clear out the surrounding checks first.
Oh, and that's a really good find there. Not something that's too out of the way that Zero Rush won't actually get, but that fire rod there on Stumpy is certainly handy.
Yeah, and so that sword on Zora Ledge is really coming up big because not only did it let Zero Rush just move through the overworld a little nicer and defeat the Moldorm, that if we get that fire rod, Skullwoods is our 2nd red crystal, and it's fully clearable if you have that sword and the fire rod.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if he'll go right back up there to Skullwoods and just take out Nuclear Beings.
Yeah, because you got to even wonder, it might even be worth it for Immortal Koi to think about trying to get that sword with a double water walk if he knows that trick.
Yeah, I'm unsure if he knows that or not, so I'll have to see. Looks like Hype Cave was mostly empty. Was that just Bombos in?
Yeah, pretty empty Hype Cave. Bombos was actually in the digging game, so I don't think Hype Cave had anything tracked. Looks like Immortal Koi is going to go turn in that mushroom right now.
Yeah. And then we'll see if he attempts to do anything about that sword on Zora Ledge. Yeah. And who knows, maybe the mushroom just has the flippers.
And meanwhile, Zero Rush is deciding to go into Thieves Town already. We'll see if he elects to go deep into Thieves Town. Whenever you have the small key in the front like this, there's a 50-50 chance that the big chest has an item, and you can't get that without the hammer.
I did not know that it was a 50-50 chance. So, thank you.
And we see just a red 20 up in on the witch's hut, and we see Immortal Koi electing to use a bomb so he could drink that red potion to exchange it for a blue potion.
All right, let's see where he goes here. And Thieves Town, the front of Thieves Town has been empty so far, but Zero Rush is going towards the back, so we'll see.
And a really nice dash there by Zero Rush, getting the perfect pixel to get through that hellway just in one dash.
That's one of the harder things to do, isn't it? Like lining up that perfectly, isn't it?
Yeah, Zero Rush really showing off that no major glitches experience there.
There's the flippers. Okay.
Yep, so Zero Rush's sword's back in logic.
Wow. So the game wanted you to go into Thieves Town to get the sword, get the flippers get the flippers in Thieves Town, go back and get the sword so that you can then defeat Blind. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, you could still use blinds in logic with just the Cane of Burna, but the more important one is the Skull Woods, because that puts Skull Woods into logic now, because you need a sword to cut through that barrier to get to Mothula.
Right. So Blind bought that blue potion, I think, probably for this reason. I think he's going to go back here, full clear Thieves Town, and use the blue potion to use that Cane of Burna to take down Blind.
Yep, absolutely. You do not want to have to go through the back. Thieves Town's a pretty long dungeon if you do more than just the front 4 checks. And if we know that the flippers are in the back, so he'd be going pretty deep if he was going to have to leave to get the sword here.
Right. So the only thing I can think of that could help bail Koi out would be finding another sword, blind or front of skull maybe. That would be the only thing that could help him gain some time back, because he will automatically lose time by not having that sword.
And we see Zero Rush going through the blind fight, gets through it without really any problems at all. We'll see if blind has an item. Okay, so I think that with that we have either the map or the compass in the big chest today.
Well, that's good. They don't have to worry about coming back to the big chest here.
Yeah, it's always a load off your mind when you come into here without the hammer and don't have to worry about leaving behind that item in the big chest.
And just a point, that is crystal number 3, dungeon number 4 for Zero Rush at about 40 minutes. It's about 10 minutes per dungeon.
Yep, and he'll have another one that he can beat, another crystal, once he gets that fire rod.
Yep, that'll be Skull Woods. Wow.
And looks like Mortal Koi is going to go over and get his flippers relatively shortly over here.
And, you know, he doesn't even have the option to Rage Slash.
Yeah, I'd have to use one of the do a Rage Bomb.
Yeah, Rage Bomb or like Rage Punches, I guess. And this is a really annoying place to be with these crickets. Without a sword, you can't just dash through them like you can normally.
Yeah, pretty nice footwork to not get hit by any of those 3 there. So where do you think these runners will head to after where they're currently at, Smirk?
Okay, so I think Zero Rush is probably going to go... Well, he's probably going to go ahead and finish Pipe Cave. But I think he might go back to Skull Woods after that. It is a full clearable red crystal, which opens up some other options for him. Now, it does open the Pyramid Fairy because they don't have the hammer. So, it could still be one of those situations, like you said, where Aga may still be required for that access to the West or East Dark World. Though I think another option would be Kern jumping. But I feel like Skull Woods for him. And then Zero Rush, I think he might, like, if he doesn't, I don't know, he might just go back and get his sword before deciding to come to Skull Woods. So, how about you?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think Immortal Koi, it is definitely, if he's thinking about ever getting that sword, I think now is when you do it, because it gives you the ability to clear a dungeon right now.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying because he can't combo it in with Catfish. Maybe if you want to do a Kern jump with Graveyard Ledge, that's an option, but then you may have to just do another Kern jump.
Yeah. Now, I did just watch a seed where there was a hammer in Miss Palace, and having that Fire Rod and Bombos, especially like in close proximity, what the Bombos was in the Diggy game and the Fire Rod was in Stumpy, it's like just on your way over there. You have the mitts and the flippers, so you can get there. Now, without the hammer, it's not clearable, obviously, and there's a lot of things that are locked, but the hammer was in the first chest in the previous race I just watched, so could be the same situation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if either of these runners know the bomb duping glitch. I think they probably do, because that would let them skip the Aghanim requirement, because you probably would want to do the Pyramid Fairy before doing doing Ice Palace with no hammer. Because Ice Palace with no hammer is just such a rough check.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and it looks like Immortal Koi is going to go over and check these North Dark World checks, and he'll probably go Graveyard Ledge and then do Catfish with the flippers and then mirror over and get that sword. And because, yeah, you really want to get that sword for Skullwoods. And there's the hook shot up there, so that cape was required early. Thought it was going to be Aga required for that with that cape, and maybe it still is for the pyramid logic, but definitely required for that hook shot.
That's a good find for him, but I do think that ZeroRush will probably find that after he finishes out Skullwoods.
Yeah, because ZeroRush is running kind of low on things that are available to check. Like, you've got Ice Palace, which is a pendant with no hammer. You don't really want to even think about that at this point. But he's still got Graveyard Ledge, Catfish, and all of that East Dark World. So probably we'll see him go east out of the Skullwoods after this.
Koi making use of that cape there. Oh, that was close. He turned it on. All right, so he was using the cape there to dodge those murder-dactyls, but they got him. So.
Yep, those murder-dactyls, they are vicious when you're coming out of that bumper cave. Especially, it's kind of hard to dodge them, especially with no sword.
So I do think he wanted to go over to Graveyard Ledge, but I think since he went ahead and took the death there, rather than going back there, I think he's just going to go to the Dark Death Mountain. Since you have the hookshot now, he can do it with all of Hookshot Cave, and Super Bunny Cave, so...
Yeah, there's just so many items up here, it makes a lot of sense. You're probably figuring, okay, I still need the hammer and the Cane of Samaria and the Ice Rod before I go into Turtle Rock, so I'm not trying to put off doing the mountain to do all the mountain stuff at once. Figuring you're probably going to have to come up here again to do Turtle Rock, so just get the dense checks out of the way now.
Hey, that's a nice handy half magic.
And ZeroRush making quick work of the back of Skullwoods here, going to make his way into Mothula, where this fighter sword Mothula fight, which is never an easy fight. Luckily has quite a few hearts, and I believe still has that red potion.
He has a couple of fire red shots, should he like to use those, but he's landing these slashes.
Looks like Immortal Koi picked up a sword over there somewhere in Paradox Cave.
All right. So there's the other sword. I wonder now if he'll ever go back. Like, if he, just decides to progress and, decides, I don't actually need that other sword. If the other swords just happen to conveniently be in the way.
Yeah, I think he'll only ever get that sword if he ends up going over to Catfish.
And,
unless there's no other sword on the way.
Right. And I think chat's making a good point. Homemade Beer saying pet check time. I think that would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, there's never going to be a better time to check it. He's already got the pendant invested. So you probably see it. He's got to go back in to get that bridge chest. Because he got to gamble, see if it's not going to be an item, but did not get both items in Skullwoods yet.
Super Bunny Cave just with a bottle and another shield. Smoky there in the Skullwoods chest. And here we can see. Just couch cash. All right, so it is not a Petsy.
Nope, not going to need to pull for that money today. And we see our Turtle Rock medallion is the Ether medallion, so we do already have that one, which is kind of nice when it's a crystal, though we can't go in there yet without the Cane of Samaria.
Or the hammer. Hookshot Cave. Wait, there's the Arrow of Destiny. Looks like besides that sword, Death Mountain was pretty empty.
Yeah, surprisingly empty considering how many items are up here. Looks like Immortal Koi is going to jump down to Spiral Cave. Can't do Spike Cave yet because we don't have the hammer.
Right.
Definitely good to have gotten that sword before having to do this.
Right, yeah, that certainly helps.
And it looks like the second item in Skullwoods is just very deep in the dungeon. We'll see if ZeroRush even gets to skip any checks.
There's the extra.
That's a good one to find.
It's definitely required.
Yeah, so we'll see. So if the Cane of Samaria is on Graveyard Ledge or Catfish or something, then that could be pretty big for Zero Rush. You could just go right in and full clear Turtle Rock. Or no, I guess he needs the hammer too, so that's probably unlikely that you'll find all of those on the way. But definitely need that Ice Rod eventually.
Yeah, so I would say at this point, it definitely looks like Zero Rush is, got a pretty significant lead. Mostly thanks to that sword on Zora Ledge. He did spend some time getting it, but it looks like it's really paid off. He's been able to, go through the game faster, go through the overworld faster without having to dodge monsters and enemies. And just, having the availability to clear, Desert Palace and clear Skullwoods the first time without having to go back to them.
Yeah, definitely. It did, like you said, it was a pretty sizable time investment for Zero Rush to get that sword, having to go basically set up that water walk in Molten Cave and fake flip her over. But definitely has paid off just because there was no other swords in nice places and you needed swords to beat bosses.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get our first look at Graveyard Ledge over here on Zero Rush's side. It's just a heart container, so not going to need that. So now, if they don't find the hammer on, say, Catfish, we're down to pretty much not very many nice locations. You can go into Swamp Palace and look in that first chest for the hammer. You can go into Ice Palace looking for the hammer. You can go into Pod looking for the hammer, which isn't as bad. I mean, you need the hammer to beat the dungeon, but definitely better than those other options. Or you could sequence break the Pyramid Fairy. And then there's some other one-off checks like the Pyramid Ledge as well.
Did you mention Dipping Swamp?
Yeah, the dreaded first chest of Swamp.
Yeah, I don't think either of them will want to do that. But we'll see. So it is as we suspected. Koi did find a sword and came directly back to Skullwoods to finish it off. So.
Yeah, the half magic's going to help a lot for this this moth fight. Definitely be a lot easier doing half magic fighter sword. Oh, getting grabbed by that wall master there. Really unfortunate there for Koi. You hate to see that one in the Skullwoods.
Right. I hate it when that happens. And it usually happens to me like 3 or 4 times, but just a heart piece there on Catfish. So we'll see where Zero Rush heads to next.
Yeah, I think the mountain makes a lot of sense for Zero Rush, having gotten that hook shot and can now do, it's realizing that going to save and quit to the mountain now.
Yeah. Where do you think he'll go after this? Since we know that there was basically nothing up there. He'll get a Master Sword here. What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll give Ice Palace a check? Or do you think where do you think he'll go?
So I think that Zero Rush may consider sequence breaking the Pyramid Fairy here because the nicer locations that are left that we haven't seen. Palace of Darkness is not as bad. You don't want to double dip it, but it's considerably better than going into Swamp or Ice. And you see another unfortunate back of Skullwoods for Immortal Koi. This is not an easy fight, even with the half magic. Definitely easier than without, but still a rough fight. So
yeah, absolutely difficult.
But yeah, what I was saying is you're going to want to go over to that Pyramid Palace of Darkness area, and since it takes a little bit of time to get over there, it might make sense to do the Pyramid Fairy while you're going over there, and then kind of decide where to go. You go check that, and then the ledge, and then Pod.
Oh no!
Well, I think that one was intentional to get a little bit more health rather than mirroring over. Did he get the item over in the...
He did, okay. I thought it was right before he got to the chest. I looked over at Zero's side and missed it, so... Okay, that's a nice fairy, but you probably want that magic. Oh, is he farming here for it?
Yeah, he knows he's in he knows the drop pack, so he knows the magic is coming up. Yeah, it really pays off to know the drop packs sometimes, because he knew that the real ones were in the fairy pack, and then was able to get a full heart and full magic. So definitely good to keep your composure there by Immortal Koi. No, okay, I want to go back into this fight, but I don't want to just run back there with 4 hearts and no magic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am. I've definitely, when that's happened to me, I've definitely said I'll just come back later. But the green mail here does make this fight, really challenging. I like having the blue mail. Even though the spikes still do the same amount of damage, you take less damage from Moth himself and from the fireballs that he shoots out. So.
Yeah, especially even that Master Sword makes the fight considerably easier than fighting.
Oh, yeah. So nice dodging there. He gets it this time. Nice.
Yep, didn't even take any damage that time.
Zero Rush alternating between the hookshot and the mirror there for that Super Bunny Cave climb. And just blowing past these things.
Yep, a nice quick swap exclusive tech. You can't do that in the vanilla version of the game, but it does save some time in the randomizer when quick swap's available.
Now, did you see if Koi checked pet here before?
I do not think he did.
Okay, so it looks like he's opting to not check it. Which I think makes sense for him. He didn't get the pendant in Hera. I think he's just, saying, nah, this is probably not pet. I'm going to move on.
Yeah, and I think that whenever you have mishaps like Immortal Koi had in Skull Woods, you're kind of thinking, okay, what sort of routing choices can I make to make some time up here? Because you're thinking, okay, I had a little bit of execution issues, but there's no way my opponent didn't check pedestal here. So if it's going to be a pedestal seed, that means that we're both going to be full clearing everything, and I'm going to be in a pretty bad spot.
Right.
So maybe he's banking on, okay, maybe I can just not save some time skipping that, and then make a gamble and go into a pendant dungeon or something, try to make up some of the time he lost in Skull Woods.
All right. Okay, so got that ice rock from Skull Woods, so didn't leave that behind. And now let's see, where's Zero Rush going?
So he might be setting up a Skullwoods water walk for bomb. What else could he be doing over here?
Well, I mean, he has the flippers, right? So he can just go to the East Dark World. Oh, that's not what he's doing though.
Oh, he's getting purple chest.
Oh, right, they left purple chest behind. That's right. Zero Rush did too, right?
Yeah, I don't believe either of these runners did purple chest or Bombos tablet.
Okay. I saw somebody check the Bombos tablet, I thought. I think Zero Rush did. Or was that... maybe not. I might be remembering a different game. It's too many games. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely can bleed together.
Alright, but Zero Rush is going over to the East Dark World.
Yeah, probably we'll see if he grabs that second sword while he's over here.
Right, this would be a good time for him to do that.
Yeah, because the next check that's going to be anywhere near this would be if you decided to depend on Ice Palace, and that's not a particularly great one. And didn't look like purple chest was anything of note.
Okay, so I do think Zero Rush did check the Bombos tablet before, because he didn't do it there. I think he just checked it. He didn't get it. He just checked it.
Yeah, that would make sense. Otherwise, he probably would have gone over there. And we're seeing Zero Rush is going to go into that first chest of Swamp Palace, because there's just not that many other options. And when you're someone like Zero Rush who's feeling pretty good about how you've been executing, you can make this kind of play to kind of like protect yourself. Like, okay, I'm doing really well on my execution. I'm going to have a little bit more time to do extra checks. So he can kind of make this check to protect himself from his opponent gambling this early and getting the hammer way before it.
Yeah, I think, being in the area, it's just one check, and I know that it's a, very hated check because it just takes a long time to activate it and come back. And if it's not here, then you have to come back again, So it's a time-consuming check if it's not the hammer. But like you said, I think he probably feels like he's doing all right and can be safer about it then.
So Chad asking about the bonk on Catfish. So there's something, if you mirror on particular quick pixels, the mirror animation takes less time. We call that a quick warp. And if you bonk right by Catfish, it sets you up on the pixel to do a quick warp. So it saves a few frames when you're doing the mirror there if you bonk before collecting the Catfish item.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it doesn't really like save necessarily a whole lot of time, but it's easy enough to do, and it does save time, so might as well, right?
Yeah, it's really big for, in no major glitches, you'll see the top runners always trying to set up those quick warps. And that's one just, it's free to set it up there. So even if you're not as practiced in NMG, you still will go for it.
And yeah, if you're good at getting the quick warps all throughout the game, you know, then you're actually saving up a good amount of time. Like Homemade Beer is saying in chat, it's about half a second per warp. So if you can get the quick warp with all of your warps, then that adds up.
Yeah, those little things. So if you think about it, if you just save a little bit of time, like, I don't know, tenth to a third of a second on your screen, each screen, like we go on so many screens each run, you'll say it really adds up throughout the course of the run.
All right, so looks like Immortal Koi is heading over to maybe Pod.
Yeah, we'll see. So we saw that pyramid ledge. This was our first time to check that. And looks like Immortal Koi is going to do Hobo first and then go into Pod. So a nice little way to check Pod quickly. And meanwhile, we see Zero Rush going into Ice Palace without the hammer. So two dungeons that require the hammer to clear. Without the hammer is where these gunners are going.
Yeah. And this room, this chest in here, was where the hammer was in the seat I just watched before this. Between W. Garrison. And it's just the map this time, so we'll see. There are other checks that are available.
Yeah, because I think some of these Ice Palace checks are locked by the hammer, depending on the key layouts. Right.
And to answer Pixie's question in chat about the mirror, yeah, so the quick warp can happen like pretty much anywhere. It's just based on your, I think, horizontal like pixel lineup. So sometimes if you notice that one is going faster than the other, you probably got the quick warp for the one that's faster, you know, without knowing it. And thanks to Homemade Beer for showing me that.
All right, we get to see some tech that's very important to the No Major Glitches route called the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. These days in Randomizer, we see a lot of Icebreaker, but Zero Rush getting it perfectly on the first time very quickly. So very nice there by him.
Yeah, and that was a flawless bomb jump there. So. Yeah, so we get to see both runners yet again in different places. So we'll see if Zero Rush... I would feel like this is more of a gamble from Zero Rush than it is from Boy, personally. I don't know the truth, but going into Ice Palace without the hammer, knowing that you cannot complete it, if you don't find a hammer here, it is a required double dip. Same thing with Pod, however, Pod is just a pendant. So, you know, if the hammer is here, or if something that leads to the hammer is here, then Boy should save some time by having gone to Pod first. Oh, Ice is a pendant too? Wait, am I missing?
Yeah, they're actually both pendants, but yeah. I agree with your logic though, because there's more if you count the chests in Pod that you can get without the hammer versus the chests in Ice you can get without the hammer. There's more in Pod, and Ice Palace takes a little bit longer to get to those checks.
Right. Yeah, with Pod, especially having the mirror, you know, like you can clear all of Pod, like the entirety of Pod. And if you, for whatever reason, had to come back to kill Helmasaur, well, you're not losing a whole lot of time necessarily, whereas Ice Palace, you still have to go all the way through to the bottom.
Yeah, and you can't even get all of the items in Ice Palace right now without the hammer. Whereas in Pod, it's going to be basically just Helmasaur that you can't get to without the hammer.
Exactly, and it's a denser dungeon as well.
But again, maybe it's Zero Rush kind of feeling like, okay, he's executing really well, thinking he can afford to kind of protect himself from his opponent taking a gamble and try to, or maybe you're feeling like, okay, I'm up one game. I can go for these plays that will basically win it instantly for me if I were to get it here. So there's a lot of reasons why a runner would choose to go to Ice Palace here over Pod.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. It's something I don't often think about. I did a few of my Challenge Cup matches, you know, whether or not I had a win or loss, I never really considered that option, you know, to, oh no, boy, falling down the pod bridge there. But he found the shovel in pod, and that could lead to something. But yeah, as I was saying before, you're absolutely right. Considering, you know, you're standing with your opponent is definitely wise. And Ice Palace coming up pretty empty here.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I think we only were able to get one of the items there in Ice Palace, with the other two both being locked by the hammer.
So it doesn't necessarily say, oh, Ice Palace is not the answer for something else later in the game. It could still be an answer.
All right, now I have to wonder where Zero Rush is going.
You don't think this is towards pod?
Oh yeah, I forgot. They've only got the one portal, so he has to always go this way. That's right. These late hammer seeds, they mess with your head.
So now it almost makes it look like Koi is in the lead, since Zero Rush is chasing him into pod.
Yeah, if Koi finds the hammer and doesn't ever have to go into Ice Palace or
Wow.
Swamp Palace. But seeing what we've seen, I think it has to be in the pyramid now. I don't think there's any other checks left.
Oh my word. So, yes, the shovel. It could be the shovel.
Okay, so we got
Thank you,
shovel.
Pixie. I'm so glad we have trackers to help us today. By the way, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to Professor Pixie and Samimas for tracking today. You guys are our lifesavers. Definitely give them a follow. Give our runners a follow, Zero Rush and Immortal Koi. They're doing an amazing job. You can see how amazing they are. Massive thank you to my lead commentator here, Dane. And thank you to the restreamer, Star. I think I got that right. Did I get it right?
Yeah, so let's see where I think okay, so Immortal Koi still has purple chest over here. So he's gonna grab purple chest and then combo that in with the shovel. So we'll see if the shovel is the hammer today, or else we're gonna have to have the ever legendary pyramid having the hammer seed, and then we'll have to see if these runners are gonna bomb dupe or if they're going to actually beat Aghanim to do that.
Star, did you roll this seed? Is that what you're saying? And also, yes, you are correct, Dane. This is the legendary seed, it seems, where the hammer is in there. I've only ever heard stories and tales about this seed. I've never actually seen it happen. So,
well, we'll see right now if it is or not. If this hammer is, it could just be a really dirty hammer. Nope, it looks like we are going to have to go to that. Oh wait, no, we still have Ether Tablet is also available.
I think Zero Rush checked. One of them checked the Ether Tablet. They didn't have a Master Sword, but they checked it, and it was. Oh
yeah, that's right. They got the book really early.
Yeah, I think they checked it when they were up there by Hero. So, yeah, I think it is officially. So, Immortal Koi might still go into Swamp Palace, and I don't think he's checked the Bombos tablet yet. So I think he'll finish off these small checks here, and he might even dip into Ice Palace like Zero Rush. So Zero Rush may have not lost any time at all.
And we see Zero Rush going for a pretty difficult trick over here, trying to hover over and clip into the rail. So this is one of the most difficult hovers, because you gotta not only hover, you have to clip into the rail like that. But Zero Rush pulling it off, and that's a pretty nice time save if you're able to pull it off.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, Zero Rush was practicing hovering the Turtle Rock gap before the seed, so definitely capable of that hover.
Yeah, Ganon's gone wild making a point here about how this is the Challenge Cup. But yes, the racers who are in the Challenge Cup who are at this stage are incredibly good. I think it's people who just kind of got unlucky on some of those qualifiers, but all of the racers at this point who are still in are just like outstanding. So definitely a lot of credit to them. They're putting on a really good show.
Yeah, absolutely. The talent pool to this community runs so deep that even with the 128-person main tournament, you can still have excellent runners in this Challenge Cup.
Yeah, I will like to mention Immortal Koi was the one who knocked me out, so definitely well-deserved win for him there. But I did only lose to him by 7 seconds in race 2, so... Alright, so here's the Swamp Palace check for Koi. He's going to check that first item, cannot go any further than that first check because he does not have the hammer. So he's checking for a hammer.
Yeah, but this makes a lot of sense because you're right here, and it could be this. We'll see if he elects to also do the Ice Palace. Oh, and I think it really depends on how confident he feels about bomb duping. Because you're right by the bomb shop, you can go there and check that out if you're confident in your bomb duping abilities. Because Ice Palace, it just really is bad. It really feels bad to do Ice Palace without the hammer.
Yeah, I definitely don't know the bomb duping, so I would have to clear it out.
Yeah, basically you just got either screen transition or mirror at right when the clock hits 0. So it looks like he's going to go for that bomb dupe. So this will be nice to see. Okay,
this could actually still give Koi a little bit of a time save over 0, since 0 did check Ice Palace for the hammer and did not find it. So if he pulls off the bomb dupe, and I'm curious because I want to see it work.
Yeah, basically jump in the water here. The bomb immediately does not like that you're jumping in the water, so it starts the timer, and then you got to just try to mirror right on the 0. And then if you did it correctly, you'll have a bomb following you.
Oh, is that how it works? Wait, is there no bomb? There's no bomb.
Yeah, he didn't get it at the correct time. And also, I think you want to do it on not the Lake Hylia Island, because you want to get it in the water, because then when you get in the water, you jump out. Oh yeah, you want mirror bonk, I guess, so that you can be in the water with the bomb.
Okay, it looked like he maybe was unfamiliar with it exactly and tried to pull it off, and in case he didn't, decided to mirror there in Hylia Island because it was on the way to Ice Planet.
Yeah, you can also set it up by setting up a water walk over its Skullwoods, and then water walking, and then just doing a screen transition while you're doing your water walk to do the same. Like you see the mirror bonk or the bomb dupe just going up normally to kind of dash with the bomb. And looks like Zero Rush is just going to go and defeat Aghanim to get that bomb. So it doesn't want to try to do the bomb dupe. Maybe it would have been worth it to try it when you're over by Swamp, but if you're not confident you're going to be able to get it on the first try, then it may be, especially when you're as fast at clearing Aga Tower as Zero Rush is, it's probably faster to just do Aga Tower than take 2 or 3 tries on bomb duping.
And, you know, I mean, maybe he doesn't know how. Like, I'm not really too familiar with Zero Rush or Koi's skill sets and these glitches and stuff like that. I know that they're both very good. But, you know, even some people who may know how to hover might not know how to do some of these other glitches, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's really just if you're as confident in your execution as Zero Rush is, and you know you can beat Aga Tower very quickly, versus you might mess up the bomb dupe once, and then it takes a lot of time to do it a second time. So you can definitely understand doing this.
It looks like Immortal Koi is not doing the Ice Palace bomb jump here. I think he's just... Oh, forgot to actually hit the switch.
Yeah, with Ice Palace being a pendant and not having the hammer, you really don't need to Ice Palace bomb jump in this situation. Zero Rush did it, and he was able to do it very quickly, so it didn't matter as much for him, but you definitely don't have to do it in this situation. The only way it hurts you is if you find the hammer in here and then decide that you still want to beat Cold Stare. Then you kind of get burned a little bit. But with it being a pendant, it's not as big of a deal as if it were a crystal.
And Zero Rush blazing through Aga Tower with that Fire Rod, just killing all those pink guards with one Fire Rod shot.
And yeah, chat pointing out that doing the Ice Palace bomb jump actually was a detriment with how the items were laid out in here, because when you hit that switch, it makes it so you can't walk over to the iced tea room from the when you fall down from the Freezor room. So you have to take a long route to get back there.
So I am like I feel sorry that the runners are experiencing this seed, but I am happy to see that that legendary seed where the hammer is in Pyramid Fairy. Like, this is incredible. This is a myth. It's been a myth this whole time. So I can't wait to actually see the proof that it exists.
Yeah, and we'll see if it even is the hammer, because it could still be the flute.
Right. It could be
it's
something.
Obviously, going to be leading to the hammer, but we'll see what specifically we're going to get today.
Right. Good point. Good point.
I think it would be a little. I think powder would be the rudest by far.
Oh gosh.
Flute would not be quite as bad, because the powder. Not only do you have to do that, you have to do it the long way with the mirror.
Right.
We'll see how many blue balls Aghanim gets us today. I think that's either already 2 or 3.
Actually, powder would feel like, even let's say like they get powder and Taint of Samaria. Like, it would feel even worse if the hammer is still behind the powder. Then it's like, oh dang, we could have fake powdered.
Yeah, not only is the hammer in the powder, you couldn't have ever fake powdered. You had to.
Right.
You had to All right, so Aghanim is not deciding to be a super fast Aghanim today, giving us a decent amount of blue balls. Let's see, it's either 4 or 5 already, so pretty rough.
All right, where is Zero Rush going now?
We'll see if he's trying another bomb dupe. And when you're up here with his loadout, he can try to do the Skullwood's Water Walk method, which is a little bit easier, I think, than trying to do the flipper one. It really depends what you're familiar with, though.
Right.
Yeah, this Aga is really spamming those blue balls today. Not only Aga is guarding that hammer in the pyramid with his life. I think that was 7 or 8 blue balls.
That's definitely a very blue ball-y Aga.
So at long last, Zero Rush can now take that portal from the pyramid and bring the bomb over to the pyramid.
Oh my gosh. Now I understand why it takes so long to redo the bomb tube. Because in order to get back there, you have to go all the way around like this.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why it makes sense for Zero Rush to do it. Though if Aghanim would have been 1 blue ball, I think he's already got the bomb done. But with the 8 blue balls or whatever,
yeah,
quite a while.
Okay, well, let's see if Immortal Koi manages to pull it off, and if he does, they're almost exactly the same spot.
Yeah, it'll be a really close race if he's able to pull this off. Yeah, it looks like he wasn't able to get it, unfortunately.
All right, looks like he's going to go ahead and do Aga at this point.
Yeah, and that bomb trick, it just comes up so infrequently that even runners that are of this caliber, of this level of experience, can just never bother to learn it because it's only going to come up 1 in every 50 seeds or whatever. So definitely understandable what you're seeing from both these runners.
Yeah, like Star, I didn't even know bomb dupe was a thing until today. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. So I'm very happy that you're teaching us about this because it's new information to me. And it's incredible that you can do it.
So we'll get to see over here on Zero Rush's side what our prize is going to be in the pyramid. Could be the hammer, could be the flute, or could be the powder.
And we need a drum roll for this. Oh, there it is.
It's the hammer and the cane, so that's our Turtle Rock entry package right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably I need to compose myself. Anyway.
So after this long slog of a seed, Zero Rush is pretty close to go mode now. We need the flute for sure, and we might also need the Quake Medallion.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that Pyramid Fairy was just, my goodness. Yes, at 1 hour 17 minutes in the game, we finally have a hammer, and that's 1 hour and 1 hour and 17 minutes for runner like Zero Rush with incredible execution. Um, so now he's gonna go into Swamp Palace, and then what do we have? We're just looking for. You said the flute, right? That's all we got left.
Perhaps Quake Medallion, depending on what Meyer requires to enter.
Right. Yeah, we don't know what the Meyer medallion is just yet.
Yeah, so I think for right now, this seed it's kind of a bit annoying because when you get these seeds, they like bottleneck you to the terrible check of doing either the bomb dupe or Aghanim. And then once you have that, now you just kind of have a pretty clear route. Okay, now you just go over and beat the dungeons that you weren't able to beat because you didn't have the hammer, and then see where you're at with regards to are you in go mode or not, and if so, just finish your dungeons. If not, you're gonna have a couple one-offs left to do.
Right.
But you really hope for these runners' sake that you're just going to find the flute on the way, not even have to do left side of swamp or anything, because if it's in the checks they have left are not good. You've got like finishing off the rest of Ice Palace or finishing off the Green Pendant and Pod.
Oh, right.
Those are just not fun.
Yeah, exactly. Or you got what, Hammer Pegs and Spike Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, all just kind of. Yeah. I guess Hammer Pegs is probably the nicest one of those.
Yeah, especially the main problem with the hammer pegs is just they've cleared out everything in that location.
Exactly, they've already done all the rest of Smith Chain, so.
Whereas Spike Cave, you can at least finish Turtle Rock, and then if you don't have the items you need, you can just jump in there on the way out.
Now, do you happen to remember, did either of them hard reset after turning in the mushroom? Because the fake powder is an option.
Yeah, neither of these runners did do that.
Okay, so if they, if the powder is locking one of those items, but I guess if neither of them hard reset, then it won't come into play at all.
Yeah, and like the powder is going to have to be on the way if it's going to block anything, and there's just not that many places that it could hide. So it would have to be really right. Inconvenient if it were to be hidden behind the powder, which is also in a bad location.
Right, I'm just saying, okay, you do hammer pegs, and if you had, you do fake powder, like it's just right there, and you get that instead of like going all the way to Helmasaur or like going back into Ice Palace. You know what I mean? Like if the powder is in Ice Palace or on Hammer Peg, or on Helmasaur, then you can save a lot of time that way. For
sure. And it would also make it so you'd have some other reason to go over by hammer pegs.
Yeah, that too. So
to kind of get back to what Zero Rush is electing to not do left side swamp first, and we saw that the big key was in the back, so you might have been faced with the decision to go back for the item in the big chest anyway. So we'll see afterwards if he elects to go back into swamp for that left side and big chest.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, he was playing, safer, cautiously getting all the checks out of the way, the weird ones, things like that before, like, how he did swamp and ice before doing pod, for example. But I wonder if he's feeling now it's like, oh, maybe he doesn't know the bomb dupe or didn't feel comfortable with it, so he did Aga, and he might be worried now, like if Immortal Koi knows the bomb dupe, then he might feel like he lost some time there.
Yeah, you really never know. We'll have to see what he decides to do. And able to knock out Argus there with the Master Sword. Pretty nice Master Sword fight there.
Okay, looks nothing in swamp so far.
Yeah, nothing of note, and except for that fourth or fifth crystal there for Zero Rush after getting the first 4 in like the first 40 minutes. Wait until hour and 20 to finally resume the crystal collection.
I mean, that was a pretty rude thing to see through there, so we'll have to blame Star at the end of this.
And Immortal Koi finished with the Blue Ball Wizard. Gonna go over to buy. This bomb vendor is making out like a bandit today. This will be the 5th bomb purchased, I believe, or 4th bomb purchased on the stream. So
yeah, no joke. It's scam bomb vendor this time. Big key was just a map. So does that mean there are 2 items left on left side?
I did not catch if we found the compass in the original compass chest or not. Our tracker, though, is saying that yes, there are 2 items in the back.
Okay, yeah, I thought I saw the compass before, so map. All right, so that means 2 items in left side swamp. Zero Rush is opting to be thorough here as well. I think at this point with a seed like this, you probably ought to be like. Chances are your opponent probably checked everything before doing AGA as well, right?
Yeah, you got to think that you may be worried your opponent did the bomb dupe like you were mentioning earlier, but you're not thinking, oh, my opponent probably just skipped everything.
Yeah.
Unless they're really confident in the bomb dupe, because it was reasonable to not do Ice Palace and do the bomb dupe right after Swamp if you were very confident in your ability to do it.
And Zero Rush showing some more diver down here on the left side with the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, when you come in for the left side, that you can only save a little bit of time with the diver down there, kind of with these switch transition like you showed there.
And I think Immortal Koi is going directly to Swamp as well.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Just you don't want to go up to the Turtle Rock to clear that until you've cleared out the stuff below the mountain. So just finish Swamp Palace first and then go up. And we saw just bombs. So we'll see if this other item in left side Swamp has anything useful here or not. And doesn't. So Swamp Palace was completely empty.
So it could have paid off to go do Turtle Rock first if the answer is there.
Yeah, because you might be able to go mode Swamp Palace later in the scene.
Yeah, that hammer and Cane of Samaria together was like, here is your key to Turtle Rock. Because, I mean, you need both, right? And you have all the rest, so... But we'll see. Zero Rush is headed towards Turtle Rock right now, so... He might do Spike Cave first, but...
Yeah, I think you do Turtle Rock first here, because you got to beat Turtle Rock. Go moding Turtle Rock is not going to save much time, whereas skipping Spike Cave was going to save more time than go moding Turtle Rock would. And you can just do it on the way out without having to worry about climbing the mountain a second time.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think, in terms of who's ahead, I think this puts Zero Rush, basically a Swamp Palace ahead. Which is a good, 5 minutes or so? 4?
Yeah, it really depends, because Immortal Koi could elect to take the gamble and skip the 2 items in left side Swamp. And also, it's really going to depend. So I agree. I think Zero Rush is ahead right now. It's still not over yet, because we don't know where that flute is. Because if it comes down to the flute not being in Turtle Rock, then we're kind of out of good options, and it becomes who picks the right bad option. I guess Hammer Pegs is probably the least bad of the options, but then we've got stuff like going back for Helmasaur or going back for Ice Palace.
Right. In chat pointing out, thank you, Swedish Arctic Fox, Land Molus as well. Zero Rush did take down Land Molus at the Desert Palace, so he has that ahead as well.
Yeah, we're going to have to go over by Misery Mire, so it should be a nice quick for Immortal Koi to double back on that one.
Right, yeah. And now with that Half Magic and Fire Rod, should make it a pretty fast fight. Now, surprisingly, at least surprising to me, they played this entire time with just the green mail. They have found no mail upgrades, and they're still on a Master Sword. And that's with the hammer in Pyramid Fairy. This is basically as bad as a hard item pull seed.
Yep, we haven't gotten anything that's not allowed in hard item pool. No silver arrows, no gold sword, and no mail upgrades. We don't even have the mirror shield, so it may as well be a hard standard.
Right? Now, I'm sure they'll find it, somewhere from here, but all of this stuff that they've already done, some of this is really hard with just those items.
Yeah, it looks like Ganon's Tower is probably going to end up being loaded and have 2 swords, 2 mail upgrades, and the silvers.
Yeah. There was a seed I played where I think it was the Compass Room, or whatever the right side room is called over in GT. There was a Butter Sword, a Mirror Shield, and the Red Mail, all next to the Big Key. It was just like, what? Alright, Zero Rush going through the Chain Chomp rooms, getting hit here once, but I think he's fine.
Yep, and Immortal Koi doing the same sort of Master Sword spin strategy that we saw from Zero Rush, which definitely faster than the hammer strategy for Argus here.
Yeah. Well, Star, you're gonna have to remind me to not ask you to roll seats for me ever, please. And down goes Argus for Immortal Koi. He is now collecting his 4th crystal at an hour and 28 minutes, almost an hour and 29.
Yeah, and we'll see. It's definitely, I think it's reasonable from Immortal Koi's perspective to skip left side here, because you might be feeling a little bit behind because of Skullwoods and your bomb dupes, but we'll see if he likes to do that.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you made. With those Skullwood's deaths, nope, well, it looks like he's going right back in. I mean, definitely for the big chest, right? Maybe. I mean, I feel like if you're going back in for the big chest, you're probably going to go back in for the left side as well.
Yeah, I agree. And with it, it's really hard to skip out on 2 items, but it's a lot easier when you're in the commentary booth and know that there's nothing in there.
Right, yeah, exactly. And Zero Rush getting a full magic refill from those Pokies, I think they're called.
Yep.
So that was a nice place for them.
Yeah, we haven't found anything nice in Turtle Rock. We'll see if Mimic Cave is going to be the answer. Generally, Turtle Rock, when it's the answer, it's Laser Bridge that has the item. But we'll see if maybe we can get the Flute in Mimic Cave. Just the bug net, though.
Wow. Oh, this seed would not... This would easily be a 2-hour, 30-minute seed.
Yeah, it's not a fun seed. All right, so it's going to be, we got the Crystal Roller Room, which does not have to be a key. It could still be one. And then we could be on the Laser Bridge to see if Turtle Rock has anything of note.
And potentially Trinex.
That's true.
Just the compass here. Wow, I don't think I've seen people do it that way, where they get the iframes from the Canis Maria there twice, like that. I've seen people do other ways to do it, but that was interesting. He used the Canis Maria, used the iframe to get over there, but he had set another Canis Maria block before heading over there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, so we'll see. There's the 4 checks here. One of them has to be a key, but I think the other 3 are all going to be items. So we'll see if we get the flute over here. So okay. We got a heart piece. We got a small key. Gonna have to be careful. Zero Rush is down to just 2.5 hearts.
There's the... Oh, no, there's the map. I think the compass was found. But no. There's the flute. Flute on Laser Bridge. Oh, my goodness.
This is maybe go mode.
Right. We're still not sure about Quake.
And not having any fear, Zero Rush going to go through the back here with 2.5 hearts. We'll be able to get up to 3.5 here if he wants, though honestly 3.5 doesn't help against Trinex because he's either going to do 1 or 4. So
oh, that's true. So
I think maybe the fire shots do 2. I don't know. I never get hit by those. But the body of Trinex does 1, and then the heads do 4.
Oh my gosh, I would have... I mean, I know he's got a blue potion, but goodness gracious, coming in here with 2.5 hearts, that's just terrifying. And this is Master Sword too. This is like Hammer Trinex. Oh.
All right, maybe we're able to get rid of the 2 side heads and gonna just deal with the main head, and we'll see how to be able to be done with Trinex here. And we're seeing Immortal Koi electing to do Spike Cave first, and there's that Quake medallion. So if it is Quake, he'll definitely save some time on Zero Rush there.
Right. It might take Zero Rush a while to get back up here. If he does not check Spike Cave and Meyer is Quake, Zero Rush could go do Helma or the rest of Ice Palace looking for that Quake before coming back to do Spike Cave. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it will come down. Zero Rush could just elect to check Spike Cave here as about insurance, but I think it would be perfectly reasonable to just say, okay, I'm most likely in go mode. Let's just go activate that flute. And even if I'm not in go mode, there's 3 checks over there before Misery Mire.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think if it were me in his shoes, I would definitely just activate flute, fly to Mire, you know? Yeah. And chances are, right, 67% chance, it is either Ether or Bombos. So we won't know until in just about a minute.
Yep, so if you're rooting for Zero Rush, you definitely want to see the Quake Medallion not be the medallion for Misery Mire.
Yeah, Ether or Bombos for Misery Mire access if you're rooting for Zero Rush. If you're rooting for Immortal Koi or just a really close race, then you're rooting that Mire is the Quake Medallion required.
Yeah, then it just comes down to what order do you check your terrible one-off checks in.
Exactly.
If it's not, at least the flute will make getting around to the one-offs a little less terrible than it would have been without it.
Wait, what did I miss? Oh no.
All right, moment of truth headed over to the Misery Mire area. We will see if Zero Rush is in go mode or not.
And drum rolls again.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We'll see.
Oh.
So this is definitely still a race. We'll have to see when Zero Rush elects to go get that Quake Medallion from Spike Cave.
Star, please never roll a seed for me. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it's worse than just like an all dungeon seed. Like, this is worse than that. This is so mean.
Yeah, because like for Zero Rush, I mean, it really depends on what your thought process is. Because I think the 2 items in Ice Palace are probably your quickest 2. But then you could think, okay, but what if I want to protect myself from what my opponent could have done? Because your opponent likely would do. You could like if you're thinking, okay, what could my opponent have possibly done early? Spike Cave is really the only location that makes any sense to have checked on the way. The other ones, like, you're not going to get the hammer and then go do Ice Palace before Turtle Rock, for instance.
Right. So, looks like this might be Hammer Pegs from Zero Rush. The other possible thing that could lead Zero Rush even further away is finding, like, another fetch, like the powder. I guess that's all that's left. But if he finds the powder, like, let's say he goes to Ice Palace and finds it, he might come back here to check the powder first before finally making it back to Spike Cave.
Yeah, I think we've got Zero's got 3-4 minutes to find Quake Medallion before Immortal Koi will start taking the advantage.
Right.
Just because of how long Turtle Rock is.
Yeah, that's a good estimate. Fortunately, the flute was there, so these checks are a lot faster now.
Well, it looks like he's going to Spike Cave, so...
Okay, he decided Spike Cave was better than checking the dungeons.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense, because it is a bit quicker, and they've seen another unfortunate death there from Immortal Koi. Those skeleton heads really pack a punch, as does basically all of Turtle Rock.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. And, honestly, I would say that I think the deaths, actually, that have plagued Immortal Koi, just the bad luck there with the way the monsters are going, I think that amounts to a good amount of time. Like, I think it would be a lot closer without those, because there was the death in Skull Woods, there was an overworld death over by Mini Moldorm Cave, and, I think, I can't remember where the other one was. And then this one here in TR. So, each of those, they start to add up.
Yeah, definitely. The loadout these runners have had has not made the seed easy at all.
Absolutely.
They've been on fighter sword or no sword for most of it.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong.
No hammer, no mail upgrades. They don't even have that many hearts. Like, 11 is not... That's not that many.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, like, these deaths, he's being careless or anything. No, this is just a really rough seed.
And yeah, so now Zero Rush got his go mode at about 1 hour, 37 minutes out of that spike cave. So we'll just get to see him get to do nice, fast Misery Mire, followed by a Ganon's Tower climb.
And yeah, to answer the question, yes, Zero Rush is undefeated so far in the Challenge Cup. I do think Immortal Koi did give him a run for his money on the first one. I think they were only a couple minutes apart on the first race. But he's also, I believe he's also the favorite for the whole tournament. I think, people are familiar with his, is it the NMG? Is that what it's called? The NMG
yeah, he's also a prominent rando runner. Like, if you would have told me he was in top 16 in the main tournament, I wouldn't be surprised. But
oh, wow, okay. Gotcha.
Just a bit on the qualifiers, man, they can do it for anyone.
Yeah, the qualifiers, I mean, some of those were rough, and with so many people, you're going to have people that just, find that perfect route and, make those, like with 100, I think the first one was 150 people, so, naturally 5 people or so or more are going to get those really, really fast routes and make the par time really difficult. And so with a little bad luck, you could just get unlucky with qualifiers. And all right, looks like Immortal is being a little more careful here.
Yeah, down to 3 hearts again, and everything in Turtle Rock really hurts. He's already taken the exit, so he wouldn't have to go all the way back to the front, but you definitely don't want to take another death. Absolutely
not, yeah. I commend his bravery for doing, the bonk over the spike roller strat, even with just the 3 hearts and stuff. I would still be even more careful.
Yeah, both these runners definitely cutting it close towards the end of this Turtle Rock. Because when you come in with 11 hearts green mail, it's not an easy trip. And not even going to bother getting the health refill over there. Probably thinking about taking the safety door.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think he does have the blue potions, so I think he can just turn on the caper, panic burn in here, get these items. He's got to be careful here, though, because if he runs out and gets hit by a laser, that's it.
Yeah, definitely don't want to risk with the 3 hearts. Those lasers would knock you out.
There he is. He finds his flute, and he's officially in Gobo now at 1 hour and 40 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yep, doesn't have to check the medallion because he already has all the medallions, so he knows that he's in Go mode with that flute.
Oh, getting trolled there by the Pokey. Right. Meanwhile, Zero Rush has found the big key and is heading towards the back of the mine.
Yeah, he did the, it was in the vanilla location, I believe, which makes me, I didn't see it, but if there's a key in the chest that you have to light the torch above the tile room, then the key has to be vanilla. So I don't know if that's what happened here, because he did check that vanilla big key chest rather early.
Yeah. Yeah, confirming by Simimus there, it definitely was the vanilla big key. So thank you, Simimus. And like you said, the logic there kind of indicates that.
Yeah, the big key doesn't have to always be vanilla, but if there's a small key in the compass chest, which is the one above that tile room where you light the torches, then the big key has to be in the vanilla location.
Right. And yeah, Mire logic is definitely something I'm still learning, so it's nice to hear these little tidbits of information. If there's any newer runners out there too, or people who are just jumping in, so I appreciate you making those points and giving us those tidbits of info.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to just have a little bit of time saved. And we see Immortal Koi there able to deal with Trinex, so collects his 6th crystal, or I guess it's only his 5th crystal because he's still got Landmole. He's gonna have to do a bit of a dungeon rush over in the Mire area.
Yeah, but like you said, it shouldn't take too long for him to just hop into the back of Desert, finish off Landmole. He might even decide to do that before Mire. I'm curious to see if he'll check Meyer Shad and Checkerboard, or if he's just, playing as 100% Go mode here. I know that he's capable of beating Ganon with the current equipment, but I know that some runners also like to check for silvers or, Tempered Sword. I've seen even like some of the top main qualifier or main tournament runners still check a few extra things for that Tempered Sword. Because it's not just that it's easier or safer, it just also saves a lot of time too.
Yeah, it really depends on which checks are on the way. And it also is different, like if you're on Fighter Sword, like they definitely check those on Master Sword. Meyer Shad's probably a little bit far, but like those Sunken Chests in Swamp Palace, for sure, you'll see those checked.
Gotcha.
Especially when he already has the medallion, so you're going to take the route where you just walk straight to Meyer. But maybe they are really low on equipment, so I wouldn't fault him for going in. Because if you get even a heart container, that would be helpful at this point.
Unfortunately, he had to stick to just one blue potion there because he had to use he had to use his money for bombs, the big bomb, a few times, so...
All right, and we didn't ever get to point out that you get to guess. Quick, get your guesses in for the big key game. Guess the number between 1 and 22 for the big key location. I'm going to go with 14, because that's what I normally go with.
Let's see. I'm going to guess 19. Yeah, sorry about
putting it or rolling the seed. We'll see. I'm hoping for a nice big key on the torch today. Just get this seed over with. These guys have been...
I mean, Star did roll this seed. It's basically the worst thing I've ever seen. At this point, I might just gamble Talabring that way.
All right, so Zero Rush is going to do the Hope Room first route, so we'll get checks 1 and 2 over here. Check number 1 is just a bomb. Check number 2 is a piece of a heart.
Not even enough to increase his health. I think they might be one behind on that. I think that's the third. So they need another one too.
And our third check is that torch, just a small key. Gonna collect it there because you need a couple keys to get through the top of GT.
Thank you, Samimus, for that clarification. Check 1 was actually 3 bombs. I think I said it's just a bomb.
Check 4 is the Tempered Sword, which makes a lot of sense. We've seen most of the rest of the game. Check number 5 is the big key.
All right.
Not even going to bother checking those other 2 for silvers. Feels really good about his Tempered Sword climb. This is basically what you have in the No Major Glitches speedrun in terms of equipment. So Zero Rush definitely familiar with this loadout.
And Zero Rush going into the first part of this at 1:45.50. So we'll see how fast he can climb up this part.
Really good Mimics run right there by Zero Rush. And Mimics 2 also really fast. So
wow, yeah.
That was impressive.
I actually saw him practicing this just before we started, so looks like that practice paid off there. Wow, I've never seen someone run right through the middle. Did you see that? He ran right through, like, just the left of the... like, in between the 2 crystals. The crystal switches.
And we see Koi showing off a rail clip there in Misery Mire. It's kind of similar to Icebreaker, where you can use the door state to get through that rail right there. And yeah, Zero Rush definitely doing a nice job going through this gauntlet. It really is nice to have gotten that Tempered Sword. It makes the gauntlet a lot easier, having the Tempered Sword and the boots.
Oh yeah, being able to one-shot these monsters with just one hit is so nice. No powder here.
Yep, been living on the edge this whole climb. He only went in with about 4 hearts. So onto Land Mole is down all the way to 1.5 hearts.
Getting scary, but he does have a blue potion, so I'm sure he'll use that if he needs to. Get the 1 heart in the small magic refill there. Into the Wizrobe's room.
Yep, just got to get through this last part of the climb. Akoi did just get the big key over in Misery Mire in that cutscene chest, which is not as fun as it could have been somewhere else.
Zero Rush being safe with that dash there and using the Cane of Burna to dash through those.
Yeah, sometimes they can hit you out of your dash with a frame rule where it doesn't feel like they should be able to hit you. So definitely a good heads up play there, knowing that can happen. And using
that's definitely happened to me before.
Yeah, it's really annoying when they just knock you onto that pit and you take a lot of damage.
And yeah, that's definitely a good point, Sameemus. This was functionally a hard item pool C. I mean, I'm sure the mail upgrades were deeper in GT somewhere, or maybe in those hammer-locked Ice Palace checks or Helm of Sword or Green Pennant or something, but I mean, they just now got to Zero Rush just now got to 13 hearts. Tempered Sword, Fire Shield, no silvers, and Green Mail. I mean, this is exactly a hard item pool, like, at this point.
Yeah, and Zero Rush essentially went through that whole gauntlet with about 6 hearts, never getting above, starting with about 6 and then just getting that 1 heart on the way up.
Yep. And it was 145.50, and he's going into AGA 2 at about 149.30. So that was, what, 3 minutes and 40 seconds for that entire climb? It's very fast.
Yep, and just got a triple on the first one of AGA 2.
Wow. And then a double. So it's like going to be a 3-2-1 here. Yep. Oh, and using the blue potion right there. And as you see on the right, Immortal Koi using the Cape Sword spam. Thank you, Pixie, for pointing that out. When you slash your sword while having the Cape active, the magic bar does not drain as quickly as if you're not. So you can just continuously slash your sword and it preserves your magic bar. So Immortal Koi still has to go finish off Desert, while Zero Rush is heading into the Ganon fight now. So let's see how that goes for him.
Yeah, definitely nice to have the Tempered Sword here, so you can go through the fight significantly quicker than with the Master Sword. Able to get that Trident spin there, so gets a 1 cycle on the phase 1. Gonna go for the 1 cycle phase 2 with that double spin. And then use some dash strategies to get the last few hits of this cycle.
My goodness. So bonking into the wall to get inside of the fire circle there, and then just poke dashing inside of the circle. That's incredible.
Yep, already on to phase 3. The silvers were in GT.
Okay, yep, as suspected. Oh, it looks like he got the torch glitch there with the fire up.
Yeah, not only that, he actually got 2 hits in before hitting the fire rod, which is kind of the best you can hope for. If Ganon starts on that bottom side or in one of the corners, you can get the free spin right after the text box and then get another one in. So really nice. Should be able to finish this in the minimum number of cycles.
That's incredible. Oh, man. Yeah, definitely setting up those triples here. And there he goes. Wow, get your GGs in chat for Zero Rush. He's about to cross into this bridge. That's this last little obstacle here before completing the game.
Yep, a really great Ganon fight there by Zero Rush. Definitely gets your GGs in chat for Zero Rush. And yeah, we'll see if these runners are going to join us for an interview.
Yeah, the official time for Zero Rush is there in chat. It's 1:52.16. For a seed like that, that's incredible.
Yep, and it looks like Immortal Koi is going to elect to forfeit, but definitely get your GGs in for Immortal Koi. He put up a good fight. This was definitely a difficult seed, so props to him for making it through and making it all the way to the top 16 of this tournament for sure.
Absolutely. All right, I think our runners have decided to join us for interviews. GG's to Immortal Koi and to zerorush. Wow, that seed.
Yeah, GG. That was awful.
Yeah, one of the worst seeds I've had in quite a while, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, first things first, we have to put the blame here on Star. Apparently she rolled the seed, it's her fault, so...
Yeah.
Moving past that, I've always heard of seeds like this. I know my friends and mentors have told me about the mysterious hammer-locked and pyramid fairy, and I've heard about it, but I've never actually seen it. So this is the first time I've seen it. What did you guys think about that?
It's not the first time I've seen it, but it's the first time in years and years of playing this game that it's ever actually happened to me where Hammer wasn't Pyramid Fairy and Aga wasn't already required. So that was a new experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely only had like Hammer up there like probably twice in like 100 seeds or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't see it often.
Yeah, it's definitely a legendary like experience. I've never, like I said, I never saw it before. So what else did you guys think about this race in general?
Well, other than the hammer, I guess it was a pretty good seed. Besides that, I think.
So one of the points that both chat and we commentators and trackers were all making was that, you know, this was basically a hard item pull seed. You guys were stuck on Greenmail. You guys were stuck on Master Sword for the majority of the seed. I think the Tempered was in GT. The Silvers were somewhere in GT, according to Ganon. So, like, this was basically a hard item pool seed. On top of that hammer. Yeah. And so, first off, I'm going to say absolutely amazing display of execution from both of you guys. Like, it was just incredible to watch. Like, you don't expect to see this caliber in the Challenge Cup, but I mean, at this point, you guys are so far up there. It's incredible to see that level of execution. So props to you guys for, you know, training and practicing and being able to perform like that. Absolutely incredible. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a hard seed. I think one of the tunics was on Ether Tablet, but the only time it was really up there wasn't any way to get it. And we got 2 bottles, but there was never a great opportunity to fill them. So I know Immortal was saying he died on Mothula, and that was like I almost died on Mothula too. It ended up being, I think I had like 3 hearts left or something.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that sucked dying on Moth, but luckily the little mini Moldworms had the full magic drop.
Yeah. So I had a couple of points on that one. First off, yeah, like that was great. Bravery and knowledge there by you, Immortal Koi, knowing that the Moldworms had the magic drop to be able to just go back in, find them, get your magic bar, and go right back in. That's something that I probably would have just like completely.
Yeah, I saw the fairy, and I was like, I'm gonna try again and see if
but
it's health.
I did, and I don't know if you guys talked about this after the race. I know you guys were 10 minutes ahead, so I'm not sure what all you've discussed already, but there was a point in time where Immortal Koi was doing the I think it's called the bomb dupe, and Dane, my co-com, can probably explain that better than I can. But if you had gotten that bomb dupe that first time, I think that would have put you ahead of zerorush at that point, because zerorush basically decided not to do the bomb dupe at all and just go straight to Aga. And he had already checked Ice Palace, Swamp Palace, basically you guys checked all the same things, but at the point that Immortal Koi was doing the bomb dupe, it was before he had gone into Ice Palace the first time. So if he had gotten it, that would have put him like pretty, like not like, you know, super far or anything like that, but definitely ahead, especially with that Aga being what, like 9 blue balls.
Yeah, that was a lot.
It is a little ridiculous. Yeah. I think great example of why you should practice some of the obscure stuff, I guess, because I knew how to do it, but I've never done it before. Not really anyway, so I didn't want to try and go for it in a race. So props to Koi for going for it, but I wasn't brave enough to do it, so I ended up checking literally everything, but lo and behold, Hammer and Cane Pyramid Fairy is kind of ridiculous.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I was feeling kind of bad, so I was like, I've seen it done, and I think I've practiced it once, and it looks pretty simple, but I just had the timing off.
Yeah, I think chat was pointing. There was a lot of main tournament people here in chat, and I think they were pointing out that you were doing it right, but you were just off by like a pixel or something. Like I said, I think Dane, you have to explain this one to me because I don't really know it. But
yeah, I guess you had to mirror bonk is what chat was saying there.
Oh,
on Lake Hylia Island at 0.
Oh, okay.
But one quick question, Zero Rush. When you were routing, you actually ended up doing Ice Palace before Palace of Darkness without the hammer. Could you go into like what was what dictated you to make that decision?
Mostly because I wanted to do Obo. I didn't do him earlier because I didn't feel like storing like the weird water walk, but ended up having to double dip it anyway, so it sucked. But yeah, I wanted to check Hobo just in case he had anything, because that's much more likely that my opponent would have checked that rather than Pod, I think. And then I just did Ice Palace while I was over there.
All right, makes sense.
That would have been a good gamble, like Pod or Ice Palace, because the flippers are kind of leading you to either without the hammer.
It ended up being a pretty terrible Ice Palace too, which was unfortunate. But
yeah, only one item, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had all just bad options at that point.
Yep. The only good option was the one neither of us really knew how to do, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, sometimes it happens though. Just need to practice. Don't really use it much, like if at all. So
yeah, you could also do a Skullwoods Water Walk to do a normal sort of bomb dupe with a screen transition over by Pod.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, it comes up so infrequently that even like knowing about it and then actually like you figure, I can just, if I need to do it, I can learn to do it in the run.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up another thing that was a variance, because I mean, you guys basically had the same track of, mind track with the whole seed. You guys kind of did the same sort of things, crisscrossing here and there. But one thing that Zero Rush did, I think both of you tried to do the Splash the Elite over to get the sword on Zora Ledge. And it didn't really work out. But then what Zero Rush did was stored a water walk, fake flippered all the way over there, and then got the sword before going to like all the Dark World and the other stuff. So I think that even though he invested a lot of time into getting that sword, because there was no sword like anywhere else for so long, I think it probably saved time overall. With especially with the boots, like being able to dash without which by the way, amazing job like dodging those enemies everywhere without the sword and having the boots. You have to constantly stop and go around and stuff like that. So
yeah, that was awful.
But I think that was another point earlier in the game that kind of saw a little bit of a time gain on Zero Rush's side by having that sword.
Yeah, sword. If you're gonna boots are kind of awful if you don't have a sword too. Dashing gets weird. So I guess my Ancilla index was messed up from shooting stuff with the bow in Escape or maybe in Molarm Cave or something. And I just completely blanked on the fact that I had the lantern to fix it. So I tried it a couple times and it wasn't working, so I just gave up.
Yeah, you can also fix it with bombs, dropping them into the water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think of that either.
Armos messes it up too, right?
Yeah. You had beaten Armos, so that was why yours wasn't working.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, I'll just hopefully find another sword, but no. It was the sword in GT, and the other one had to be Hammerlock somewhere.
Yeah,
Either GT or
The other one was in it was in Paradox Cave.
yeah, I got that one, and I got
No.
the
I think he's meaning the other sword.
Oh yeah, the fourth one. Yeah, that was probably also in GT.
Probably in GT. It could have been in, Ice Palace behind the hammer or Helma or Green Pendant or something, but exactly what you said. It could have been behind the hammer.
Yeah.
The entire time I was climbing GT, I was thinking about those 2 chests I didn't open in Stalfos room. That could have had the silvers, and then Ganon gave the hint that silvers were in. Or the other
As soon as you got the big key, you mirrored, and I was like, wait, that's the chests.
That felt real bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think at this point, we're all conditioned to be able to do the silverless fight. Silvers definitely speeds it up, but
yeah.
And your Ganon fight was incredible. Just like Dane was explaining to me, that you were able to get 2 hits before having to do the torch glitch, and then after that, you basically got triples the entire time. So it was very nicely done.
Thank you. It was pretty free as far as Ganon lineups go. Like, all of the warp spots were very easy ones, so I didn't have to do anything weird, which was nice. So it looked impressive, but some of the other ones are a lot harder. I probably would have messed those up.
It just always feels good when you get the 2 hits and you get the torch glitch with the fire rod. It's fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, definitely takes practice, but the good RNG of the spots and stuff was cool. From what I was watching after. Weird seed though. You get the I kind of felt good like going down and getting the fire rod before doing TT in Skullwoods, like instead of dipping Skullwoods early.
Mm-hmm.
So that felt good.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of runners, the tendency is to at least dip the front of Skull, even when they don't have the fire rod. And so the fact that I think the Zero Rush didn't do that either. I think you both went and got it from Stumpy before going into Skull.
Okay,
I can't remember. Did you Zero Rush or did you dip it first? I can't remember.
I did not. I usually do, but I didn't this time because I wanted to come back and do it with North Dark World.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, you tied in the North Dark World after your Skullwoods. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, just do Skullwoods and then go east over to Catfish and down to Pod.
And that's another, point that, how I was talking about the sword difference at the beginning. It wasn't just with the dashing execution that saved time with having the sword, but, like, the fact that Zero Rush had the sword in Skullwoods, like, he was able to route that in his Dark World trip, like, the first time. Whereas Immortal Koi, you had to go to the mountain first to get the sword, and then when you came back to Dark World again, then you were able to do the Skull. So, it's like little things like that kind of added up over time,
Yeah.
And that's just rando. Like, honestly, like, what are the chances, of, like, not finding another sword somewhere, Like, so many times you play Seeds and there's, like, 2 swords in CAC or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, wow, one was on Zora Ledge, the Flippers was in an awkward location, like, all the way up in Blind, the back, the attic. And it's like, goodness gracious, like, what did this logic want from me? So...
Yeah, it's just rando. It happens. Mm-hmm. It's all fun. This game, I love this game, so...
Yeah. I'm sure if this was one of the tournament qualifier seeds, someone would have finished in like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, someone would have. There would have been at least 5 people that would have done the bomb dupe immediately. Yeah, they would get the fire rod and then go do Skullwoods and immediately bomb dupe.
Right.
Yeah.
There also would have been the other group of people who, like, well, I got a sword and a cape. I'm just gonna jump straight at Aga with no Moon Pro. And somehow that would have paid off too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, someone would have done it.
I mean, that would have saved you time. Like you wouldn't have been able to go anywhere, but then you would have eventually Moon Pearl, and you would have come out of Akka, or like, and then later, instead of doing all those horrible checks, you would have gone straight to the Pyramid Fairy through them. So you would have saved yourself Ice Palace, Swamp Palace, Dip, and a pod if you did Aga first.
Yep.
So that's a good point, Zero.
Yeah, qualifiers are wild.
Yep. But I think you're right. I think your approach when you're playing one-on-one, I think it's it's better to be a little safer than just making wild plays, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're fun to go for, but definitely safer not to.
All right, well, thanks again, guys, for putting on this run and coming in for the interview. Congratulations moving into top 8 Zero Rush, and also congratulations to Immortal Koi making it this far and putting up a good fight here in this top 16 match. Any closing words before we head out?
Thanks for the volunteer work, and it was fun racing you, Zero Rush. The tournament's awesome. Top 16 is cool, and I'm glad to play, and thanks for everything.
Yeah, good games. Definitely my hardest matchup so far, I think, in this tournament. So, yeah, looking forward to the next rounds, and thanks for the restream.
Yep, GG's to you both.
GG's, thank you.
Yep. So let's see. So give these runners a follow. Zero Rush and Immortal Koi here, putting up a great show and a fantastic race. This was a seed. Yeah. Thank you to our two commentators, Smirk and Dane, as well as to our two trackers, Professor Pixie and Semimas. Good luck here to Zero Rush, who is going to move on to face the winner of Malzanthlos and Structural Mike in the top 8. Good luck. And looking ahead at the CSR schedule, we have coming up tomorrow. We have a couple Wind Waker randomizer matches. We have a couple different things going on. So tentatively, it looks like we'll have a 2 p.m. Eastern Wind Waker randomizer Season 4 Challenge Cup Group B match between Eric Kilo 9 and Randomite. 3 p.m. Eastern, the Skyward Sword randomizer is starting up weekly races. So they're testing it a couple times, so that'll be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern. Another Wind Waker Rando Challenge Cup Group D match, this time between Spytron and Elena KB. 6 p.m. Eastern, a Wind Waker Randomizer main tournament match, a winner's bracket round 2 between Tanjo 3 and DJ Guapo. And at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Freaky Friday race. So that'll be... And then throughout the weekend, we've got even more matches coming on up, and we're sure to add some Link to the Past Randomizer matches as well. That will be it for us today. Thank you for watching, everyone. We're going to go over and say hi to Trumpet SK, who is happy birthday to them, because they're doing a Link to the Past Tripercent seed, and then they're going to head on to do some other games. So let's go wish him a happy birthday and call it a night. Thanks for watching, everyone.